I'm going to go try and find this bear, and it was a very silly decision because I sat for 6 weeks the first year. I didn't get any pictures, but I put out some remote cameras, and on the last day I'm picking up my remote cameras, and it turns out that a bear had actually taken a picture of himself. And I showed it to my boss. He wasn't very excited about it. He said, "You can go out and do much better." And so I set off the second season, and so I went back to Marvin Robinson again, and I said, "You want me to help celebrate this area? I'm failing on my assignment. You have to help me, get these pictures." He says, "Okay, there's a little river where there's a male bear that I met 5 years ago. He's a precious bear. If he comes down and accepts you, he will give you all the pictures you need." And I'm sort of thinking, yeah, I can't imagine there's one bear in the world that's going to make my magic happen to get these images, to get into Geographic, to get people to care about this area. So I went and sat on the river again for a month, not seeing anything. And one day I'm walking home like this. I'm walking home, I'm really depressed, and I look out of the corner of my eye on the edge of the river, and there's a bear up in the forest. And I'm thinking, could that be the bear? After being there for a month, and 6 weeks the previous year, there's finally this bear sitting there. And so I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to go hunker down by a log. So there's a big log in the river that's fallen. So I get down by this log, and the log is here. My head's right next to the log. And I'm sitting there sort of hiding, waiting to see what the bear's going to do. He walks down from the bank, goes into the river. He gets on the log that I'm leaning against, and he walks up the log and steps right over me. So he just basically walks right by my head. He got within 30 centimeters of me, and he didn't even acknowledge me. He was like I didn't exist. And I'm thinking, this must be the bear that Marvin's talking about. And then the bear went and got a fish, and he goes up into the forest. He's got a salmon. He's in the forest. He's eating it, and I get extremely excited. I follow the bear into the forest, and I get down on my hands and knees. I've got a wide-angle lens on. I'm photographing away. The bear's eating, and he finishes his fish, and he stands up, and he walks right towards me. He's about maybe 60 centimeters away from me, half a meter, and he stops. And he doesn't even look at me. He just stops, and he's staring at the ground. And I'm thinking, what does he want? And I look around, and I realize that I have blocked, he's too lazy to step over the log and go back. I've blocked his entrance into this grove and his exit. So I look, and I move very slowly. I get out of the way. He waits for me to move, and he just goes back to the river. And he goes back, and he gets another fish. And now, I'm thinking, game on. Now, I've got to get these pictures. This is the bear, and we're going to go to work. So I get my camera, super wide-angle lenses. I'm on my hands and knees. I'm in the river. I'm popping flashes in his face. I have my assistant, Jed, popping flashes in his face. And it was like we didn't exist. It was truly a dream moment for me to be the fly on the wall photographing this bear. And then as we were leaving, so can you imagine, as we're leaving, we find this other female bear up in the forest. She had 2 cubs, but they were hiding. And her cubs were pure black. Both of them were black. She's white. So her cubs also have that rare recessive gene when you learn about genetics. So she's there. I take a picture of her. I don't think much of it. Can you imagine going from 2 years of work on this bear, thinking that you're going to fail, thinking that your career could be over, to all of a sudden, on your way out in the last week, getting all those pictures, and then taking that picture and then getting the cover of National Geographic magazine? Thank you.